Hi everybody, Carrie Baughcum here. Welcome back into my classroom. Super excited, as always, to have you in my classroom with me. And it has been too long. Is it weird that I've missed having you guys here? So today I want to talk to you guys about how life inspires me to make changes in my game and how I use life to keep my game in beta. So let's get started. So my game is always in beta. And what that means is that my game is always receiving updates. It's never set, it's never settled, it's always changing. And so I love to use life. And whether it's my family or my friends or my experiences or my students, I love to use those moments to inspire me to make changes into my games, to make updates in my games. And I'm inspired every day, to be honest with you. My brain just never stops. And I love it so much. But I want to talk to you guys about 3 new updates I have in my game and the moments in life that inspired them. So the first one comes from my students. If you're ever stuck in what to do or how to change your game, listen to your students. Watch your students. They will tell you what updates the game is ready to have. And for my students, this update came from me watching my students and watching them excel, watching the game accelerate their performance and bring out the very best in them. And they needed me to bring out more in them, and I did this through a game change. I realized that my students were ready to start working more collaboratively. So my students needed elements of group work or group tasks that were going to allow them to feel how it works, feel how it is to work collaboratively, and then have the game reward them and bring out more of that collaborative nature. And so I thought about my game, and I have this theme of Star Wars, and my students, I have some 8th graders, and they keep asking about the dark side. And so they like to dip their toe in the dark side, and they might think they want to be naughty, but I don't even know what they would do if they really did turn to the dark side, right? So I decided to surprise them and give them a taste of what it might be to be, maybe break the law in my game a little bit. So what I did was I picked one student from my class and made him put him on a wanted poster, made him a wanted criminal. And I put a description about why he was wanted. And then I created this galactic alliance, and that was everybody else in my classroom that wasn't that student. And this student had escaped with 5,000 XP, and he was on the lam, on the run in the galaxy. And this galactic alliance, everybody else in his classroom, needed to catch him. So the one wanted student picked that challenge skill, and we as a group talked about what I would see when I saw the students doing that skill, what it would look like, what it would sound like. So the definition was very clear, and there was no mistaking when I was assessing whether or not that student had performed that skill and whether the group had performed the skill, that it would be fair. So I identified specific periods when I had all the students together and I knew the competition would be mad. And at the end of those periods, I would assess whether or not the single student had performed the skill and whether or not the alliance had performed that skill. And I would just keep tally marks. Well, at the end of 2 weeks, it was so close. The wanted criminal got away with 1 extra tally above all of the other students. It was just amazing. All right, so this one was just so super fun. It was just about me watching what my students wanted, thinking about what they needed, and then using that theme element to bring out this really fun task that my students needed to perform, but at the same time, I was bringing out these really awesome skills in them. The next one comes from my life as a creator. So I love to draw, love to sketch note. If you follow any of my other videos on this channel, you'll know that. And this month, or actually the last 3 weeks, this challenge called Sketch 50 has been live, and teachers and educators and doodlers and sketch noters from around the world are every day, they're participating in this thing called Sketch 50. It's basically drawing every day for 50 days. So I needed a way to bring that into my classroom. I didn't want to force my students, and I wanted to make it optional. But I didn't want to make it optional in a boring way, right? I have a game. I might as well use it to infuse some fun and creativity into it. So what I decided to do was I decided that my students, I have planets in my game. And I decided that one of the planets should be hit by meteorites. I'm going to show you right here. And so one of these planets has been hit by a meteorite. Right here. And there has been a galactic alert. It says at 1478, this planet Carrie was devastated by a galactic meteor storm. Now, students in my game know that the planet Carrie is based on a language. Its language system is pictures. So it being destroyed is devastating. So right now, this planet is on the verge of being, of not surviving, of being extinct. And it needs the galactic forces, the people of the community in the galaxy to come and help it survive. And the way they can do that is by helping them rebuild their vocabulary and their language system. Well, the planet, if you remember I just said, is based on a picture form of words. They're based on pictures, their language is pictures. So they need my students to help resupply and rebuild their language system. And so I put up these Sketch 50 challenges up here, and they have them on their website. They're super awesome. You just print them out. And this will allow my students to just come over here and grab one and then complete it. And then by helping the Carillians rebuild their language system, they're also earning XP for being a really good citizen in the community. So really fun. I mean, life is just waiting to inspire us, isn't it? All right, so my final piece of inspiration comes from games. And I love to play games with my friends and my family. And this one game I've been dying to use. My friend Stephanie Crawford talked about it on her vlog. And I played it at an camp and I absolutely love it. It's called Concept. So I had a friend who put a board game together, printable version. And what I did was I put it, I'm going to show you in a second, I put it on my door over there. And I pulled one of the cards and I put the codes on the game board itself. And then put directions outside for my students. So now when my students are waiting outside to come into my classroom, they see this big game board with a challenge, and they see the key for the game board on the side, and it's their task to try to guess what word that game board is describing. Let's go see it. This is outside my classroom. I have an update sign on my door that I always keep there so my students know if I'm going to leave little tidbits of secrets on there. This is the Concept game board. I have a leaderboard based on who has guessed the fastest. Concept rules and the concept keys. So I really wasn't sure how it was all going to play out. I didn't even know if my students would like it, but I have just been absolutely overwhelmed by the excitement and the conversations. I've even seen students talking to each other, and then they realize that they shouldn't talk to each other too much because if they give each other too many clues, one of them might guess the word before the person who actually gave all the clues gets a chance to tell me. And then I've also heard other students scheming, trying to get other students to guess the guesses that they're not sure of, so that student can waste all the false guesses, and this student can just sit back and listen to the false guesses and maybe get to the right one. So it's just been a really wonderful way for my students to engage with each other and have conversations and talk in a really appropriate and respectful and fun and collaborative way while they're waiting to come into my classroom. But it's also just been a really fun element to add to my classroom. All right, you guys, that's it for today. I cannot wait to hear how you guys use life to inspire you, how you use it to inspire you to create your classroom. If you're a teacher of a gamified classroom, I love to hear what ideas spark interest and spark curiosity and spark creativity in your mind to create game elements in your classroom. And so until next time, you guys, remember, whether it's bringing out the best in your students, creating, learning, or just being you, there are no rules. Later, guys.